If you're chronically depressed, anxious, unfulfilled, chances are you need to find yourself a purpose. What is a purpose and why do you need it? Why is it so important? So, a purpose is literally a reason for doing something, a reason for which something exists. If you lack purpose, it's no surprise that you feel unfulfilled and are going through an existential crisis. I mean, purpose literally means a reason for existing. So if you lack that, then no surprise, right? And when you're devoid of a purpose, you'll probably end up just being a endless consumer. I'm sure you find yourself on your phone or eating junk food or drinking alcohol, smoking weed, whatever you got to do to numb that pain, that emptiness you feel. And you know those things aren't satisfying you. You know that's not what you really want out of your life. You know you want to change those habits, but it's so hard to. Whenever you try, you can't stick with it. And it's really hard because you're missing the why behind what you're even doing it for. If you're missing the purpose, it's really hard to get up out of bed, get out of that slump, change your habits, because it's like, what are you even doing this all for? So when it comes to purpose, there is no universal purpose. We all have the capacity to choose our own purpose. A mistake some people make, especially those intellectual, know-it-all, nihilistic, atheist, non-believers. Not that it matters if you're religious or not religious, believe in God or don't believe in God, but just kind of the stereotype is they say there is no purpose, there is no meaning to life. And when they say that, what they're really saying is there's no purpose to their life, there's no meaning to their life. Yeah, there may be no one single purpose to life itself, but that's a good thing. That's something to be thankful for. It means you get to find your own. It means you get to play the role that you want to play in this life. If we all had the same purpose, then we might as well be machines. We'd all be identical. What would be the point of us all being different? The way I think about it is that we're all fragments of the universe contributing to creation itself. So if you think of like a sandcastle, right? All the sand's just on the beach and there's no form, there's no shape to it. And someone comes along and forms the sandcastle. It exists for a temporary amount of time and then it dissolves back into the rest of the sand. And we're kind of like that. The particles of our physical body is all just stuff that has come from the earth, that has come from the universe, takes form for a little bit, and then goes back into the universe. But what's special about us, what's unique about us, is that using this form, we're actually able to create, to be imaginative, to iterate on the universe itself. It's almost like we are the universe's paintbrush, an instrument for art, for creation, for beauty, for innovation. And the whole point of that is just to make the whole conscious experience better for yourself and for everybody. Now, better is subjective, but I think you can agree. We all want love, we all want well-being, we all want joy, we all want happiness. That's what creation is about. That's what purpose is about. It's finding your way to use your creative powers to better your life and the life of those around you in whatever way suits you. Now, even if you don't believe in all that universe stuff, God, any of that, for very practical reasons, you still need a purpose. I mean, has not having a purpose served you? No, definitely not, right? So you might as well stop being stubborn and just give it a try. See if it doesn't make you feel more satisfied, more fulfilled with life, more at peace, less anxious, less depressed. And also, your purpose can change. It doesn't have to be one thing that stays the same for the whole rest of your life. That's a lot of pressure to choose something like that. A sure recipe for analysis paralysis. Your purpose might be to create music, for a few years, and then it might change to something else. It might be helping the homeless in your local community after that. So don't think that whatever you find or you choose right now, it's going to be that the rest of your life, because that's too much pressure. So how do you find your purpose? Finding it's easier than you think, but we have a tendency to, I don't know, like psychologically hide it from ourselves because we're afraid. We're afraid to fail at what we care about most. So we avoid attempting it at all. And we don't want to feel the shame of not even trying with what we care about. So we just shove it into our unconscious mind and don't even realize that we're totally avoiding it. So the first thing you got to do is you got to get relaxed. You got to get as relaxed and undistracted as you can. Because when you're not relaxed, when you're stressed out, when you're anxious, when you're busy, when you're distracted and too occupied, you're in this survival fight or flight mode. And in that state, creativity plummets. And you're just thinking about the next thing you have to do to survive and to cover up that uncomfortable feeling. So what you got to do is you got to relax. You got to put all the distractions away, go somewhere where you can have your peace and quiet. You can sit or lie down and have some space, first and foremost. Once you're nice and relaxed, you got to start asking yourself some questions. The one I would start with is, if I were wealthy, healthy, happy, and didn't care about the approval of others, what would I be doing with my time? What would I be doing with my life? If you're happy, healthy, wealthy, and don't need other people's approval, let's say you already have their approval, or no matter what you do, they're not going to think highly of you and they're not going to think lowly of you. What would you do? What would you spend your time doing? And take your time with that. It might not come right away, and it's okay if it doesn't. Creativity starts with good questions. So questions like that can start stimulating your mind and get you thinking what really matters to you. If you had everything you needed and wanted, then what would you be doing? Some other things you can ask yourself is, what did you enjoy doing in childhood? What did you gravitate towards when nobody told you you had to do anything? What are you curious about when you meet someone with similar interest in you and you go on and on about that topic? What is that topic that you just can't stop talking about? What's that topic that lights you up when you realize somebody else shares that interest with you? And don't try to rationalize it. Like, let's say, oh, I really want to do music, right? But your mind starts saying, oh, I'm too old, it's too late for me, or, you know, all the people that I know that do music have so much natural talent and I don't have that. Don't believe those thoughts, those rationalizing thoughts. Don't buy into the doubt. You're already judging yourself, and the adult judging and analytical mind is the killer of dreams and joy. Again, has relying on that part of your mind brought you the joy and peace and happiness that you've wanted? No, it hasn't. So step outside of your comfort zone and go into a new creative part of your mind. Now, after doing that exercise and taking the time to think about it, you might run into two issues. One is you can't think of anything. Or two, you can think of things, but you don't know how to get started, or you don't think it's possible. Those are good problems to have. Problems are opportunities in disguise. In fact, problems are actually purpose in disguise. So what you consider a problem might be inconsequential to somebody else. They don't even perceive it as a problem. The fact that you perceive it as a problem automatically entails that it has meaning to you. It's telling you something. It's not telling you to, oh, there's something wrong here, so you should avoid this. No, this is a problem that matters to you. Follow it and figure it out. So if through that questioning you already found your purpose and you know how to get started, congrats. Go do that thing. But if you didn't find your purpose and you're still not sure, or you did but you don't know even how to start or if it's even possible, congratulations. You also actually found your purpose. Because right now, your purpose is to figure that out. Now you can use your creative mind and all your resources and your energy and your creativity towards figuring out that problem, figuring out that question. That is your purpose for now. That job that you found pointless and soul-sucking, now there's actual meaning to it. It's paying the bills while you figure out what your real purpose is. So it's actually something to be grateful for rather than something you're just showing up for no reason. And there may be people at your work who you can ask more questions about. There might be people who can point you towards the right place to go, towards the right resources to ask questions to. Now everything becomes a resource towards either moving forward in the purpose that you discovered or moving towards discovering that purpose. There's always something you could be doing to move forward with whatever step you're in. Use that creative mind. Creativity starts in the mind. Go ask some family members. If you don't know what's intrinsically interesting to you, go ask some close family members or friends to tell you about yourself. Sometimes they know you more than you know yourself. Sometimes they know what you like doing or can't shut up about. And that can give you some really valuable insight into how you should be using your time. Go volunteer at something that sounds interesting. Go to the library and go choose 2 books. One that attracts your eye and one that for some reason sounds terrible to you, repulses you. There's meaning to both of those. Sometimes following the thing that turns you off, that just seems so unattractive to you, actually gives you more information than you would expect. There's a reason why it moves some feeling in you. If you really didn't care about that thing or it didn't mean anything, you'd be indifferent to it. So don't be afraid to explore, opposite ends of the spectrum. Don't just wait around thinking purpose is going to come to you. Take action and purpose will meet you halfway. You might try a dozen things and find that none of them are for you, but that's not failure. None of that is failure. That's a success. The more you try and the more you realize what's not for you, the closer and closer you get to realizing what is for you. It's just more data. You'll consistently run into problems along the way, like how do I make money while doing this, or how do I make money from doing this? How do I get started? How do I get the equipment that I need? Where do I learn this stuff from? Look, a life devoid of problems is a meaningless life. The problems in your life actually give your life meaning. Problems are not your enemy. They're not the thing that stands in the way of your success. They're the things that lead you to success. In your efforts to overcome them, to go through, over, around your problems, that is the path to fulfillment. If you avoid problems, you will not be happy. You will be unfulfilled. Yes, problems can create some degree of discomfort and negative feelings inside of you, but that's not a bad thing. One of the most damaging beliefs is that negative feelings and uncomfortable feelings are bad or they're wrong. No, that's not true at all. They're not the most pleasant thing to feel, but the reason that they exist at all is because there's meaning to it. They're important. If they weren't important and there was no meaning, they wouldn't exist. So view the negative feelings, the discomfort, not as a sign that something's going wrong. So the fun in life really begins when you find the problems that you want to solve. Like Naval says, the ones that feel like play to you but look like work to other people. So there's some things to look out for when it comes to purpose. One is you don't want to make it outcome focused. So like, I want to have $5 million, right? Because then your satisfaction might not come until you get that outcome. And the outcome might not even satisfy you in the end. What you want is to be more process focused rather than outcome focused, such as I want to serve people every day, or I want to spend 2 hours making music every day. Another thing to watch out for is don't worry too hard about trying to be realistic, because that's when the doubts come in. Like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, it's not realistic. You are capable of way more than you think, and what you think might be impossible can very well be possible for you, especially with some creative problem solving. Another one is don't get stuck in the research phase too long. Don't keep reading about things or looking into things. You know, it's helpful to a degree, but at some point, just start taking action. Action will tell you what's right or wrong for you way faster. Imposter syndrome, perfectionism is another thing that we all run into. And the key to that is just start small and embrace the suck. We all suck at what we're new at. We wouldn't be able to walk or run if when we were babies we didn't trip and fall, crawling and trying to get up dozens of times. At that time we had no shame or, insecurity about failing. You wouldn't even call that failure. That's success because you're trying and you're learning. So think of it the same way with whatever new endeavor you're going to undertake. Another one is don't think because someone else is already doing it that it's been done before and you don't need to do it. You are going to bring your own unique creative angle to it. So don't worry if it's already been done. Don't worry if it doesn't seem original. You don't need to be original. And don't worry if it's never been done before. Be the first then. When in doubt, just think of how you can serve people in a way that's intrinsically interesting to you. Steve Jobs said, "Life can be so much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is that everything around you that you call life was made up by people that are no smarter than you. And you can change it, you can influence it, you can build your own things that other people can use." So I hope this was helpful. I hope you find your purpose or have some purpose in finding your purpose. I hope this brings meaning to your life and that it gets you out of bed and just wanting to embrace and really soak in this short existence that we have. Thanks for watching.